My name is Matt Lewis. I'm one of the lead tutors from St Martin's College of Art and Design. I've been working with students from across the Masters in Fine Art, Textiles Futures and Art and Science course. We've been creating a variety of pieces for the sound portal over here. The key kind of focus of our project has been what is it like to experience the sound coming from a background of not being a sound specialist, and we've been questioning actually what is it to experience sound and think about sound, think through sound in a sense as maybe another animal, another human being, another human animal. So really what we've been looking at is kind of conceptual way into thinking about sound. And also, as well as that, as the tools that bring us to experience sound, and thinking in kind of non-linguistic terms, thinking about how do we engage with listening and making sounds, perhaps through recording, perhaps through kind of science processes, whatever. What's been really interesting is that the approach that some of the students have brought to it has been quite unexpected, that they've kind of come back to all these different senses, the olfactory and the haptic as well, because that's where they're coming from.
My name's Christabel Harley. I teach across programmes at Central St Martin's, so across fine art, fashion, textiles and jewellery and product design. And the approach that we took with our strand of the Beopen Sound Portal project was that we wanted to work with the idea that our students didn't have any expertise or not much prior experience in sound because they were from these art and design courses. I fielded the idea of nomadic practice, to be disciplinary nomads. And there's a pair of French philosophers, Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari, who wrote about this subject of the sort of positive aspects of questioning received knowledge or accepted knowledge or expertise, and we felt we could do that with our group.
So the results of what you're hearing sit alongside a whole kind of programme of stuff, of workshops, public talks, kind of experimental projects that we've been doing with the students.
The process was quite painful at some points because they didn't know what they were doing, where they were going, but in the end it really paid off. So our group have made 2 pieces of work, and there's Matt's piece, but I think they're really, really promising and really interesting, and I think the students achieved a great deal by working collaboratively.
Sound design isn't a new thing. It's been around for a long time. I have this problem with kind of experts in sound practice. My background is as a musician. Supposedly I have an expert in some kind of sound practice, though I feel disabled in some ways. So we all listen, and sensorially things are quite complicated, and our perceptions work in a very kind of transmodal way. So thinking about why sound design, it seems to be something very popular now, but perhaps 2 things are quite important now is that the technology with which to make kind of multi-channel immersive systems like this is becoming more readily available to people. And recording is something that, audio recording is something that people are engaging with a lot more. And I think applications and things like physical computing and ways of feeding into stuff that makes sound is becoming much more commonplace. So I think people are just engaging in sound design maybe outside of the professional field of sound design, and even if they don't know it.
I'm no kind of, high expert on sound, but I think we've got to a point with visual culture whereby, with the visual arts, that we really know what we're meant to think before we go there, or we gen up, we read about what we're meant to think before we go, and we kind of know what we're going to find out. And I think with sound at the moment, the way it's emerging at the moment in that context means that it's getting our attention in a different way. So we're beginning to listen, which is really interesting. So we're not finding out what we already know, we're finding out new things by listening. That students have been able to get their hands on a piece of kit like the Sound Portal and expertise from people like Matt, or LCC, Angus Carlisle, and all of the Catherine Lane, all of those people. So I feel like it's brought this amazing pool of talent together, and students have had this fantastic opportunity to really learn from those experts.
The most important thing about Beopen and this project for me has been that they've taken something that is traditionally found inside, locked away inside of academic institutions in some carpeted room. And they've put it somewhere out in the open so that people can experience it in quite an open communal way. And listening is a communal activity, so it's very nice to see that they've enabled a project that's brought something out of an academic or science institution and put it into a big public space.